Hi, everyone who is watching and viewing and who is going to come in. My name is Trixie Valentine. I know she doesn't look like a model today. She is her out-of-box self, Jacob Kelly, but we won't actually go into real names. I am so happy you are here for our third episode for Glitter on My Tips. This episode, I am super excited for our special guest. But before we begin, I must bring on my legendary and iconic co-host, Alanya Chest. Hey, girl. Oh, they said trade of the season, and you are here. You are giving it. Come on, Barbie. How are you? How are you today? How's your week been?
Honestly, I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited. As you can see, I'm freshly shaved like some of the girls at the gig. Just a little something for the, little texture feedback for you. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. It's been, yeah. You should know better than to try and take a sip of something when I'm talking.
I know. I'm just sitting here. The only thing I'm thinking is like, you look like a closer clean shave than some of the other queens we've been with. I'm one of them, though. It depends. I'm definitely one of them, especially when I have back-to-back gigs. But good. I'm glad you're doing well, and I already know you're doing well because we literally talk every day now. At this point, it's a new habit. It's fun. It's exciting. But this is our first episode. We're not in drag though. Like
this is well, I mean, we're only on episode 3, but
yeah,
we've already broken the cycle.
We're just gonna start doing different themes. So anyone who's listening and watching, if you want us to do a theme or something out of the episode you wanted to come to or sponsor or watch, like you just let us know. But for this week, we are actually having our special guest. They are a photographer, and they've been doing it for. Oh, sorry, I have to go back. I have to backtrack a little. I'm so sorry. La. I know. It's like I make this up as I go, which I do. For anyone who's watching, Glitter on My Tips is it's dedicated to the book Tipping is a Must, which you can find on Amazon. 100 tips to run a successful drag show. Yay! I'm the author. If you didn't get it by now, I'm just so conceited I had to make a podcast all about something that I wrote. But for any person who's an audience member of drag, a drag entertainer, someone who works with drag queens, professionals, so on and so forth, this is a book you must get in order to help advance yourself to the next level, because our podcast is around 3 primary focuses: leadership, professionalism, and business, the business side of drag. Yes. Anyway, now that I have everything together of announcing what Glitter on My Tips is, let's bring out our guest, who I'm super excited for, Rich B. Hi, hello, Rich.
How are you tonight, ladies?
Ladies.
Ooh, I'm just gonna wear makeup tonight. I'm embracing my they-them-ness, so.
Rich, I'm so happy that you're here, but could you do us a favor and the audience a favor and tell us who you are, what you do, and all about how we can find you?
Okay, I've been doing photography for the drag community. I'm going to say I turned 50 in March, so probably, oh my God, almost 23 years I've been doing drag photography. I started with a lot of the local girls and the Miss Maryland girls and all that. just with teaching myself a lot of different artsy things within the years. I've done flyers. I've done a lot of promos, a lot. I was actually going through all my promos today. I'm going to pull a big drive out and show everybody them, just to show that, you always have to advance. That's one thing I always say. Like, no one is ever better than you. I mean, you're not going to get better than someone if you're not changing what you do. You can't stay in this nice little box. I like to step out the box. Like, I have a new queen coming. She just recently won one of the pageants at a local bar, and she's a bio queen, but she's stunning. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to her, and she was like, I'm 41. I hope I can look good. I'm like, girl, you look good. So that's my next client that I'll be taking pictures of.
So I have no idea who the person is. This
Yes.
is nothing to do with the person.
Yes.
I have a very genuine question for you.
No, I have that answer because I have that both answers for you.
It's a little shady.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Ooh, okay. So I've noticed that you oftentimes will tell queens that they look beautiful. Which this term was very new to me. I've never heard it until you said it.
Uh-huh.
But you use the term dusted.
Yeah. You've never heard that before?
You've never heard that?
What?
Oh.
That
wow.
means that when you came, your pictures are fabulous. I want to airbrush them, but then I don't, and then I do, and you're like, my makeup's not that good. I'm like, I thought it was great that day.
I know, and I feel like I was lied to.
Why? You
Because I
don't
could
think
do
you were
so
dusted?
much better.
Huh?
I could do so much better. Now that I know what the word
you
dusted
need to tell me
means.
that, not you. The thing is, I can only do what you bring to me. I'm not going to repaint you. I had a previous queen. I got to remember that. She said, can't you just do my makeup over? Because she wouldn't come for doing over shot. So I was like, no, we don't do that. We smooth.
Yeah.
And we do a nice skin texture, but we don't repaint. And I never change the facial structure of anyone. So you don't look like, shit, I could make me look like a fucking Bratz doll. But if I show up looking like I ate 20,000 Bratz dolls,
So that kind of helps us to segue into our tip perfectly.
Yes. It really do. And so I also wanted the audience who's watching, if you have your own lingo for drag or anything like that, I'd love it to put in the chat because we might also learn more from all of you who are watching. But
Dusted.
I wanted to put this dusted. I wanted to put this
I
out
can't
here
believe never.
I thought of drugs. The second I used dusted, I thought of drugs. I was like, I am out here snorting translucent powder.
I love it.
That's our next promo.
Well, I mean, that's one of our tips in here, which is on here. But anyway, so for tonight's tip, though, is have a good headshot. And I'm going to read you the tip. Invest in a professional headshot. Don't use those bad selfies like we used the look in the bathroom lighting of the early 2000s. Just like the school year photo, get a headshot to have a good image to market yourself. Be on flyers and look good. Even editing can't fix a half self photo. It's different from those dating apps. We want the whole photo. And that is tipping is a must, everyone. Tipping is a must.
And now I can tell you that there are some queens that can do a home photo that kill it, though.
Yes.
But they have the setup and they do all that. That's good. But when you're just somewhere with a wrinkled curtain behind you and you're not even airbrushed, I just don't understand.
We're very opinionated on this exact topic because when I tell you that I call her all the time with screenshots sent to her inbox of me going, oh my gosh, girl, like this is when you said it's not a dating app, I truly believe sometimes that people think that it is. And I'm like,
I know.
You're supposed to sell your best self, not the best self you could pay for or edit yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to add to the first discussion of overall just good headshots. Headshots within themselves add such a level of professionalism in so many different ways that, like Alanya said, if it's our best self, why would you not go out of your way, take that extra money that you might have or saved up for, just so you can have a good promotion photo to help yourself advance. And also it helps you create a marketing tool of branding. Like if you have a good photo that you can just brand yourself with, it continues with that. So Rich, I want to hear from you as the person behind the lens. Like you are the one taking the photos of us 90% of the time, although you haven't taken photos of me yet,
Not yet. That's why I was asking.
Not yet. Not yet. It's coming. It's going to come.
And it's gonna go.
What are your thoughts of, like, can you give us 3 good tips or reasonings of why it's such a good, important idea to have these professional headshots?
I mean, at the end of the day, it also just looks good too, because if you're doing this, taking your picture like this, and then you airbrush it too much and you're just like nose holes and lips and eyes, and then you show up and, maybe your face is down to here. I'm just saying, a lot of the professional photos, I think, also sometimes can be a little bit over airbrushed, like, but let's go back to the tips. I'm going off. Okay. 3 tips, like what you should see or what you should use it for. I mean,
you give us to whatever you want. If you want to give us 6 tips, I mean, I think that's as many inches I could take, but we can go for it.
I was gonna say just the tip at 6.
Oh, good. Okay, yes, let's start with this. Be on time, please. Be on time. I know we're all always late, but if I'm putting you into a shoot, I usually have that. She wasn't that late, or were you that late?
I was like 4 minutes late, and I told you, I was like, oh my gosh,
No,
I'm so late.
But like when you're
but
an hour and a
you're
half
also
late,
thinking of just the photo shoot. I'm not saying. Anyway, go on, Rich. We didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's fine. We're queens. We do that all. Tip number 2: don't come lightly painted. I want you to paint for like the pageant, not this is just going to be a fun shoot. Yes, it's going to be a fun shoot, but I'm serious about what I do, and if you want something unique done, just talk to me about it, but come dusted, dusted.
I think that's a good point that you have, because I remember when I did my first drag shoot, I went lighter because I was expecting day drag, but you have all these white lights and flashes on it. So like, I wish that was something when I was first doing them, like someone had thought, like.
I actually am creating my photography moving forward. It's going to be a lot different. I will have you sign a release at the beginning, and I'm actually giving you tips to this. Like, come with this. Don't come with 3 dance outfits, because who wants to see 3 shaky things, I love.
It depends on the shaky thing, and it depends on where the shaky thing is.
But don't bring 3 of them.
Why not? What's wrong with three shaky things?
No, because if it's all
your best? Like, you want that picture to be like, damn, I want to see that bitch. Not all of us can be pretty naturally.
Yeah, Trixie.
Thank you.
Whatever. And number 4, don't come with a bunch of shit and say, I'll let you pick it out. Like, I will say, Lanya I shot recently, Amethyst, and
Alize.
Yeah, her too. Alize. I should probably drink some after this. But anyways, they're prepared. Like, I don't have to say anything. They have dress, hair, jewelry, shoes for that outfit, and they know what they're putting together. I love that. And also another tip is, before you come, sit in the mirror and drag and look and see what your best idea is. Because if you're just sitting there doing the same thing all the time, like, so when I look at the pictures, I'm like, no one's smiling. There's no different expressions.
Yeah. Actually, that makes so as a photographer, one of the questions I actually wanted to have for you is, how much direction do you think a photographer should be giving to a drag performer, or I guess anyone in this
subject? A subject.
A patient.
Any subject or a drag subject?
Subject.
So, because I've had multiple encounters with many different types of photographers, and like how I rate to them if I want to go to them is knowing that they could give me directions to make me just a little bit better, because I'm not behind the camera, I'm in front of it. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is your rating on like how much directions a photographer should have?
Honestly, it should be 50-50. Like, if you pose, I will always say, put chin down, turn your head, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I need you to help with, like, the original one. I can't just say, do this. I mean, I can if I put down to it. Some people just say, I can't pose, and then they don't. And I'm like, oh, I need to change this. But I think you should have a little knowledge of what your best features are. And if you're doing drag, you should know that anyways. Like, if you're doing drag and you're taking 50-11 pictures, you say, there's girls that say, my left side looks better. And I'm like, let's shoot from the left side. And then it's physically, you can see a difference, you know? But I think you have to work together. And I do think that the photographer could look at a pose and adjust it. You know what I mean? Or give you something to start at and adjust it. I always have to see it through the lens and then take a picture too. So,
yeah.
But the other thing is,
I get to say that working with Rich is absolutely fantastic because even though I already know what poses I want to do and how it is that I want to portray myself, because a reminder that this is you portraying yourself to everyone else. Yep. While Rich is in charge of the photos, taking the photos, he can only work with what you give him.
Yep.
That point blank period. If you don't have enough makeup on, guess what? You can only work with what you give them. That's why when I went into the shoot, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a bunch of photos. I'm going to go on Facebook Live just so I can see how it looks on Facebook Live, so I can see what it looks. And I have soft boxes here. I have soft boxes. I have a ring light, and I made sure. Okay, now in retrospect, I know that I can do much better. But no, listen to what it is that they're saying. I already had the poses that I wanted. And Rich was like, just lift up a little more. Because a reminder, they're trying to get your best angle. So when they say lift, it's not that they're trying to change the pose. It's that they're trying to get the best lighting, the best angle, the best for you based off of what you're giving them.
And another thing is when you're picking out proofs, well, that's kind of later on. But some of the proofs, I don't understand why people pick them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm very particular. Like, I can do a shoot, and a lot of my queens used to, until they stopped wanting to pay me. I would say, sorry.
We'll get into payment. I can't wait to talk about. That's my favorite topic because I'm gonna ask you that same question we asked backstage.
Good. I'll tell you. It's probably not going to be nice. I'm just saying. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh,
so if you're in the audience, just let us know. Do you want us to be nice? In the audience, just comment. Just comment down. Did you want us to be nice or did you want us to be honest?
It's not about honesty. Doesn't mean we have to be mean. It just simply means we tell the truth.
No, I'm going to say what, I'm not going to be like that mean. Me never. I'm the nicest little Christian. But anyways, I am the bitch that makes people look beautiful. But I mean, come prepared. That's the biggest thing. Maybe I should start telling people a little bit more, but come prepared. Funny thing, when I was first started this, I was used to the queens coming with back dresses, back heads, everything, big outfits. This girl came with a duffel bag of pictures one day. I don't think she does drag anymore, hopefully. She had a shake and go in a tube dress. And then she had these long nails. She said, can you Photoshop my nails on? That's my first thing that pisses me off. Sorry, Alondra, I love you. But if I have to put on nails or I have to paint nails, it annoys me. So I think I'm going to start buying a set of nails to actually have in the studio because my drag mother, Michelle Sterling, Raving Diva Jules,
come on,
gets my jewelry. But oh my God, she said she had these long stiletto nails. She's like, if I wrap tape around my finger, do you think you can Photoshop it off? No, girl, no. So we did the shoot with the pictures with the tape on the fingers. It was right. I'll have to find the pictures. I know I have them.
I feel like in that kind of situation, if I was in yours, I'd be like, you get what you get. You at the end of the day, you get what you get. Because
that's literally what I told Rich. I was like, I know I didn't put nails on. I brought them with me. They were there.
Hey, I painted yours. I actually found an easy way to paint, but adding that long tip, no. Ooh,
the first thing I said to Rich was, do I want to put nails on? I was like, I don't want to put nails on. I was like, can you Photoshop nails? Just paint them?
I painted them.
Yes, you did. And I literally said, you were like, does this look okay? I was like, honestly, whatever happens, happens. I know what I gave you to work with, and I'm not expecting more than I gave.
I know, but there's another thing. I don't know if people perceive me as being mean. I don't know why. But if you have a problem with the picture, like you with the eyeshadow, you want it a little bit bluer, just come and talk to me about it. Talk to the photographer.
So
They're editing. Go ahead.
No,
They're
I only
editing a certain way. So,
I am only the only I have a devil like a devil's advocate for that situation because there are a few times so many different photographers I would want to go to them, or I've heard other queens and kings tell me like they used a different photographer, and instead of going to them, they go to someone else and they try to edit themselves, which that second one I don't think you should ever do. But like I've seen where photographers get offended or really upset if the person that's doing the photo is kind of like, hey, there's like these few things I wish we could make a little bit different, such as maybe if the eyeshadow needs to be more blue, or like if you want it to be black and white, right? Like you wanted a black and white type effect that happened to it instead of in color. And I've seen it where photographers specifically get upset because it's like challenging their artistry, and I get it because it's their art in a sense. But at the same time, if someone is paying you to look a specific way or try to do that, I mean, where's
the theory is I want you to look the best you want to look. I've never had a problem with anyone coming to me. I think that's, if you're paying someone, in my personal opinion, I find that very just rude. You know what I'm saying? If it's a 50-50 with me. I want you to look your best, and I want my name to be on it, and then it's wanted to be amazing. So there's no reason for someone to say, oh, I'm not going to do that. In my personal opinion, I would never say that. I want you to say something, you know? I want you to say, could you do this a little bit? Could you do this a little bit? And I'm going to do it for you. So
yeah.
And I think that was one of the biggest conversations I had with you. That I will admit that I was a little nervous at first to say to you specifically. I was like, can we not like edit my photos?
Right.
And I was very transparent with it. I was like, you know, like I don't want it to look like it's been edited. Because I know what it is that I'm doing. I know what it is that I'm bringing. Granted, again, and hindsight is 50-50. And now I know exactly what it is that I want to do moving forward. At the same time, you have to have that relationship and that conversation. If you are paying for something and you want to get what it is that you're looking for, communication and transparency.
I'm working for you, and I want you to look the best, and I'm putting my name on it, and I want it to look the best. You know,
I actually like this question. I'm going to pull it up now. That Sarah Bask. Hey, Sarah Bask. Welcome.
Oh, no. Hey.
Hi, sister.
His question was, what if the photographers don't have that skill set, and ask if you'd be okay referring to have someone edit those specific things that the original photographer was not capable of
That's
doing.
a good one.
That,
I mean,
that
if
is
the
a
original
really good
it is a really good question, because as a lot of people know, there's a lot of photographers starting out right now. And if someone could touch it up that made it look better, I mean, that would have to be a conversation with the photographer. I would not have a problem, but the problem is I don't want to give you every picture that I've edited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, go ahead.
Nope, sometimes you got it.
Oh, sometimes I take up to like 400 to 500 pictures if you have that many looks. Yeah. You know, if you would, in my opinion, if you would select them and let me do the cropping, I would send it to another person to do the editing.
Yeah, I think for me, the one thing I want to go is, why did you not ask the photographer ahead of time if they had those skills? Because
right. You should know what the photographer is going to do.
Right. It's one of those, can you do this, this, and this? And if the answer is no, or like they don't have a portfolio or something, I'm kind of over here like, I'm not going to them, or I'm only going to them for certain things that I specifically, like if they're a photographer that could really only use filters, which we're going to get into here in a second, because I have a good question there. If they only use filters, it's one of those, okay, so you really should only be taking pictures of me when it's on your free time at a show that I'm in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to go for you headshots specifically.
And also, if you're going to go pay someone like $200 to $300 for photos, I would know what they can do. You know what I'm saying? That's a great question, Sarah Bask.
And I love that question, because as someone who works with, obviously, the director for State Queens, and I've organized group photo shoots, one of the first questions I ask is portfolio, pricing, and skill set. And I always say, here are examples of the work that I'm looking to have done.
Mm-hmm.
What is your comfort level with Photoshop? What is your comfort level with X, Y, and Z? Because granted, while I might not want my photos retouched, that doesn't mean that someone else in my group doesn't want theirs retouched. And
Right,
how are you
right.
going to make it look seamless when you put these photos together? Because it's not like we're all taking a group shot together. We're doing individual shots and then they're being pasted together.
Oh.
Like, is that something that you are comfortable with? Is that your skill set? If not, I need to know, because guess what? If your name is on it, I would assume you want the work to look good.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And if it's your face in that picture. And another thing is, I'm going to bring this up because it recently happened to me. Sorry if you're listening. Don't crop in all my proofs and then use that picture. Don't ever, in my opinion, because it's not edited. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the unedited. Your face is still blah, blah, blah. You're not,
Yeah.
you know, tucked
And
a
if
little.
they are watching, thank you for watching Glitter on My Tips.
Yes, thank you. Hi.
No, I also want to bring up this another one from Sarah Best, not a question, but it's like, regardless, give credit where credit is due up front, but you know, keep your image solid. And
Yes.
so I do think one of the things is not enough people give credit to their photographers or the people that are taking the photo. Like, photo credit is a real thing. And so, you know, it's the easiest thing, because especially if either you got it for free or maybe they, like, I've had people just send me really good photos of me performing and they're just using their phone. And it's like, I'm going to give you credit because I'm now going to use that for my own marketing thing or other things I do.
Yep.
It takes 2 seconds. It takes 2
It
seconds.
does. At
We-
blah, blah, blah. You know?
Right. We do
And that
have
was a lot of things. I mean, I will say the girls are really good with me because I might have intimidated them to do that and everything. But anyways, not intimidate them. You know what I mean? It's just common courtesy. Like, if I share a picture of you, I'm going to tag everybody in the picture. You know? So if I'm going to do it, why can't you just take that time? You know?
Right.
Like tomorrow, I'll probably upload a bunch of pictures and I'll just tag everybody that's in them. So.
Right. Like, I just had a show last Friday, and the
Mhm.
photographer sent me the photos today. And like, I sent them to our group chat that we still had and was like, make sure you literally credit and tag this person.
Awesome.
Like, he worked for us, for free, which that's still a conversation I want us to talk about in a second. But B, he literally went out of his way to send us maybe over 100 photos, which he could have sent us 5 photos. Yeah, he was a very sweet person about it. But I want to get to this question because I really like it. This is by Steven. What were some of your more difficult shoots?
I'll be honest, the difficult whatever, you were very easy. Some of the difficult shoots I've had, actually, I need to push myself to the next level. So outside of my studio, like if I'm in the club, I already know what light I have to dial in. But a shoot I did a long time ago, which I found those pictures, Alondra, I did on a rooftop. So I basically had to change all my lighting and figure it out. It's a totally different ball field because in my studio, everything's white and it's a small box. So I get reflections out there. It was crazy. But at my skill level at that time, I think I did really good. But anything that's not my control lighting, sometimes I'm not very good with. Like I have a shoot this Saturday the 18th that I have to use natural lighting for a queen, and I've never really done that before. So I'm stepping out of the box. But yeah, like if it's out of my studio, sometimes I feel very uncomfortable.
I think that's a skill you can highlight though, because some people are really good at action shots and being in almost any outside environment, and some are really just the studio. I will personally recommend, if you're going to do headshots, it should be in a studio.
Yes.
You know, inside.
Yeah.
Like that. Jade DeFear, hello. I 100% agree with this comment. If you get proofs, buy the actual photo. 100%.
Yes.
A really good friend of mine who's like an auntie to me in like real life. She does photography. Just shout out Shadowcatcher Photography. But this right here is the number one thing that her and I have the biggest discussion on. And I don't know if you have this similar one, because she does phenomenal photography. She like basically her life is doing this. She's actually the one that did my cover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she did this photo, and you pay for it. Like it's like you pay for the photo. And I just Well, we're gonna get on payment now because I've been saying it. We're getting on to payment now.
So I feel like when we're talking about payment and buying the proofs, the first thing I told Rich was, do not send me a photo until I paid you in full. I was like,
That's
as much as I loved the behind the scenes, even before I got to the photo shoot, I was like, I'll pay the deposit now, just so you know I'm coming. But do not send me anything. I will not post anything until I have paid you in full.
That will be the rule from now on. You know,
I mean-
I'll be honest with you. Go ahead, ask your question.
Oh, I mean, you just be honest with me because you might already answer my question.
This is an awkward one, you know? Sometimes you think, I'm just going to be blunt. Sometimes you think you're part of a community that actually support you, but when you support them, a lot of the people don't actually support you back. At the end of the day, that's it. Because I was out here giving girls free photo shoots, and not to be rude, a previous title holder got phenomenal photos, and she kept on saying, I'll send you a tip. I'll send you a tip. I don't care if the tip's like $20, $100. It's just the process of thinking, hey, he did a really good picture, do that. I thought that I had a place where I was respected enough that it was a give or take thing, you know? Like my drag mom, Shelly Sterling, if she wants photos, she's like, jewelry, here, this is for the studio, you know? And also recently, there was a newer queen I was working with, and like I would do, when I was sitting there a couple years ago, last year, I realized I was being taken advantage by a lot of people around here recently. When I'm sitting on the back porch and I'm doing 5 flyers for someone and I get a payment equivalent of something that's like $10, you know, that's just, and the worst part is coming to me and saying, I can't afford that much, but then get online saying, look at my $400 wig. Look at this $300 jewelry set, you know? I think photography is just as important as jewelry and your hair because you're representing yourself.
And plus, this is something that's going to last longer than the hair
Yes.
or the jewelry.
Yes.
More people are going to see it than you think.
Yeah.
Your image is something that can be spread around so easily, so quickly. And a professional image that wasn't shot on a VGA camera is more important. I do not want your VGA bathroom selfie from MySpace on my flyer.
No.
Right.
No.
Not even just on the flyer, but like how are you not going to literally thank the person, whether that thanking be within like the agreements of the contractual agreements or any other way that the process for the contractual agreement is based off of, thank the person who literally captured something that you've been trying your whole time and couldn't do it yourself.
Right.
And it's also artistry. Photography is a form of art, and the people you're taking photos of are also a performing art professional. So it's also like, how do you not have the same respect and the art forms right there? Like,
Right.
It right there, then alone is kind of just sitting there like, whatever the agreement is fine. But if you can't actually respect or thank the photographer, in this example, to like in however a thank you should work, and to me that is also like literally just saying thank you, tipping them if you can, because I know photographers who are like, you don't have to pay me, I know who you are, and like we didn't, like, this isn't a fully agreed upon thing, but then like it's a trade of service at this point because I'm also going to help them and do things for them. So it's very interesting in my mind where other artists don't support other artists. And I also love that you were very blunt in the aspect and the how a community doesn't support the same people in the community that do more for them than they'd ever do for anyone else.
Ever. You know, it's sickening. I mean, I read the best thing. Your hometown is not your target audience. I'm going to start believing that because I have the Diamond family coming down. I have you coming down. You know, I feel like what is it? Book? What?
I said the Valentines will be coming down.
Oh, you have children too?
I do.
Oh God, here we go. But
we still have to get my children first. I have a lot.
I know. God, there's birth and hips. But at the end of the day, you're correct. It's it's a business. And you're trying to brand the drag queen because with all the popularity of drag now, it's a business, you know? And you have to make sure that you're putting an investment into your business so you can make more money out of that. To sound like a technical nerd.
Yeah. I
So-
actually have, oh, no, Alana, you're good.
I was gonna say, can you pull up Jade's comment? Because
Yeah,
I'm
well,
ready. I'm so ready.
I was about to, yeah, so I actually want to pull up these last three that came in. We'll start with Jade. So, Jade DeVere, good photography is representation of yourself. Good photos are a business investment, and AI and filters are not good representation of that. False advertising. And I wanted to get into this conversation, but can we hold off on I want to hold off on the AI comment, Will, too. But Jade, you are 100% right. Like,
Yes.
100% right there. I want to pull up this person who Ryan Geiger is a great photographer as well, and I'm so happy you're here to support. So thank you for supporting. Preach. I take very good photos, but I'm not doing this to change my lifestyle. How do you balance supporting the community and knowing your worth?
Well, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
As you said, just tag the person. You know, I know you're taking time out of your day and you obviously have an interest in it. You want to do photography, but there's a give or take. Like you would have to expect the other person to tag you or to thank you or just like, you're saying a tag, but it's hard to get started in it too, because sometimes drag queens can't be the best professionally, you know, and I'm not being rude. I'm not being, well, fuck it. I am being rude and catty, but sometimes you're just like, I'll be honest. Some girls I'm like, oh, I dread shooting them. I dread shooting them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'll do it. I'm not going to tell anybody no. If you're going to pay my price, you're going to come to me and I don't care who you are. You know, I'm sure people have issues with me, but I don't care who you are. You're going to pay me. I'm going to do my 110% best towards it. But trying to find value in the community, that's a hard one. Like, are they sharing your pictures? Are they tagging you? You know what I'm saying? Are they coming to you if they want to have a subject done that you can do in your own time or the way you take? The thing is, professional photographers all have a different style, you know?
Yeah.
One person can do this, one person can do this. I'm not mad if you go to another photographer. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I'm mad if you try to say that you can do better than me in your kitchen with that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going back on that subject. But anyways, yeah.
It's a good balancing, like finding that balance of worth and community is one thing that, at least for me, that I've learned of. Sometimes you just have to say no and that's it. Like that's the answer. The answer is no.
I'm learning that at 50, so.
And I want to pull up this last comment before we get into Jade's juicy filters and AI comments. But this one is Dana, and I've had the pleasure of working with them. As someone who enjoys taking pictures, how do you determine what are the shots to edit and use? Everyone has their own interpretation of the arts. Have you ever ran into a conflict of opinion? If so, how do you handle the difference in opinion? So there's two questions here, which is one, how do you choose a good shot within, like, if you took 100 and you only need to select 3? So I'm
honestly, when I go through and I look at pictures, I look for eye contact, see how the body looks, see if the pose is correct. But like I said, I've been doing it since I was 23-ish and I'm 50. So I just know what to look for in the thing. But what I always like to do is, like, does the hair look good? Is it over here? Do you look like you're invisible ghost? You know, look, eye contact's the one thing I love. Like, if I get that sexy pose, you know, or if you do that ever so famous pointing sideways, you know, pose, make sure that you can see all the face almost instead of actually seeing the side of the face. I always say contact with the camera is the best thing. So if you can show that you're connecting, and if you connect with a photographer, then we had a great time, didn't we, Alanya? You know what I mean? We just
absolutely.
It was the best time, and I like to have fun. And everybody who comes to my studio says it was fun. You know,
it's because you have this energy about you that is very welcoming. Now, granted, we were catty the whole entire time, but it was a kiki. It was literally just like
Right.
having a conversation with someone. It was like, like setting up for like an OnlyFans shoot. You just you have
Right.
conversation, you get all pretty and whatnot, you just start
And then you-
posing.
I love
Yeah.
it. I mean, been doing this forever. I love it.
I also love the fact that if I'm with a good photographer, and I mean that one that makes me feel comfortable, the one that also, not when I say comfortable, I literally mean like if I mess up, they're not going to make me feel bad, or if they are able to communicate, hey, just like move a little to the left.
Mhm.
Like there's a mutual. That's what I mean by comfortable. Like we can
Yeah.
have that dialogue, and it seems natural and fluid.
Right.
And so the second part to what I think when I'm in front of the camera is, can I work with somebody that only has one image and they're not thinking of what I'm trying to think about. They're thinking of just trying to shoot photos and move, like get out the door. If that's the case, it's a no for me. Like I'm not in for that.
I don't like that. No, like me and Alondra talked. It's like, let's try this. I'm all about trying new things. Well, Alondra never shut up, actually, but I'm just kidding. But no, like I said, 50-50. I would love it if someone said, I have this whole process. I want to build a set. I want to do this. I was like, bring it. You know what I'm saying? I love a whole process. So,
and that's one thing, absolutely correct. I do not shut up about my ideas. I was like,
but that's good.
Rich, like I want this idea of like disgust, and like I have this whole vision, and this is what I have in mind. And at one point I was literally like, I really want to have a bedazzled cheeseburger. And I want it to just sit there. Like I want it to look like an ad for Burger King or McDonald's.
Okay.
And I told Rich, I was like bedazzled little hamburger just sitting there, and I can just look at it. And Rich was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Don't you think that'd be so cute?
Yes.
And I was like, yeah.
It should be a hand purse.
And that's exactly what you said. So I started looking up little clutches that look like cheeseburgers.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
So communicate with your photographer.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I love all kinds of drag. Every kind of drag, I love freak drag. I like every kind of drag. So if you come to me and ask to do pictures, a lot of people are opinionated about different types of drag. I've never been opinionated about it because when I did drag, first time I did drag, I was doing Divine, okay? I had a cover up because my friend's like, you can't just wear a tube dress out. You got to have a cover up on. So I had this cover up on. I was doing I'm So Beautiful. I ripped it off. And everybody's like, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I just have a tube dress. Why are these bitches all yelling? Well, my tube dress came down and I was a little bit larger. So I had my boy boobs out. And I made mad money. So then after that, I put a pasty on it. I covered it. And they used to call me the Little Bigger Kim. So,
Word. Slave. So I want to ask one more question before we get into our brief break, which is typically where I use the restroom and Alanya stays on here to ask whatever questions people want to ask her, typically about makeup. But the last question I have for you, we're going back. We're doing it. Mm-hmm. AI and filters of photos. The question more so is just we're about to have a discussion on like when is it appropriate, when is it not appropriate, why you should use it, why you should not use it, and we're gonna get down and dirty. Yeah. So actually, you know who I want to start? Like Rich, it's not you. I want Alanya because I know Alanya has a lot. And so Alanya, you get to open up this can of worms first, and then we'll move around.
So the can has been open for years at this point because. I'm sorry, and I know for a fact that Rich is going to agree with me on this. I'm sorry, I am not a photographer, but there is nothing that irks my soul more than taking someone's professional photo that they worked on and running it through an AI-generated filter to make yourself look better.
And then, oh God, should I be catty? Oh God.
And then using it as a promotional photo. I'll say it for you.
Oh, you know the
So we were
story?
all thinking the same thing. We were all thinking the
Okay,
same thing. while I was
okay.
talking.
Someone,
Okay.
someone says no, I'm sorry. If anyone sends me a professional AI photo of them, I'm sending it back saying I asked for a headshot for my flyer. I'm not putting cartoon, like this isn't Looney Tunes up in here. Like even if it was the thing, like you better be sending me something else. You better have.
Now, if you can
something
come like
else.
that AI generated file, do that.
Oh,
But
then
when you
slay.
come
Right.
with an eyebrow here and an eyebrow here, and it doesn't look anything like you, you have to have a good representation of yourself.
Facetune and FaceApp just revolutionized the AI post photo editing. And to me, I find that, with you specifically, Rich, I've told you on a multitude of occasions, take as much time as you need.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take as much time as you need because I know that this is an art piece. I know that this is something that you are taking your time for. You took the time for the photos and you're taking time for the post edits.
Yeah,
I will not put a professional photo into FaceApp just so I can look like everybody else.
That's the
even
thing.
though Rich does a fantastic job. If you are too lazy to do the makeup, do not show up at the photo shoot just to run it through.
Why are you putting your money into that if you don't have the makeup done? And I honestly think people should treat it like going to a pageant. Don't get me started on the professional to AI filter either. But anyway,
Don't get started.
Well, anyways, oh God, I'm in so much trouble. I don't care.
You're not in trouble. You're on
a recent girl, not mentioning anyone's name. Stop smiling like that, Alondra. Took one of my professional photos. Someone else edited it in a Face app, and they used it on a very big webpage that represented this title.
Sorry,
why are you going? Where'd you go, Alanya?
No, she'll be good.
I'm here. I'm just trying to be professional.
Well, girl, it's not professional if you have your face blocked when we're talking about photos.
Face, come on.
This is me. Didn't you know I'm a little circle emoji?
You look like our AI right now talking to us seriously.
Right, there you go. That's. But once again, that's about respect. Why would you take someone that you paid money to and then just make it not look like you even more?
I will
I'm
say,
in so much trouble.
Me too. You are.
The only time I think AI could be good to use or fun is when it's only for fun. Like I ran my photos through AI. Have I used them for promotion like to promote them in marketing? No, but I think it's cool to what I look like in the 19th centuries, right? Like if a thing, but I'm not posting them. I'm not sharing them going, hey, use this as me, because it's literally not me on here. Like I don't look that soft or like petite up on these photos. So
I saw one where they took the same filter and did it to all the drag performers and put it across the bottom. Every drag performer. I'm like, I mean, that's not a good representation of yourself.
If you are going to run your photos through FaceApp and there are multiple people in the photo, do not FaceApp everyone. Ask them for permission first, because not everyone wants to look the same. Secondly, when I use the AI generated photos, I'll fully admit I use those as inspiration for what I want to do.
Right.
If it's going to come up with a great idea for me, guess what? I'm going to use it. I'm not going to send it to anyone.
No. But then basically,
I'm going to try and recreate it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, this is funny. I have a book I was supposed to read. It's called All Artists Steal. But it's just like, I see this idea, I'm going to put it into my own thing. Now, talking about that also, like if some queen said, I want to do exactly this, I'd be like, no, someone else did it. But that was a totally different story. But with the AI filters, it's, like I said, if you're going to come looking like that, if your skin is going to be like this and dusted, that's all I can think of now. Don't do it.
That's what we're gonna do when we host together. See, the world doesn't know when me and Alanya host together. This is what we pull out. This is how we get our ideas.
Dusted. But yeah,
no, every time someone's like, "Ooh, I'm dusted."
I can't believe you never heard that before.
I will say, this isn't more towards AR. This is actually towards filters. Sometimes it's so. I will say I have 2 really good photos I use for promotional purposes because they're not over filtered. They are filtered because they were actually taken through my phone. But it was at the time I couldn't afford professional headshots done, so I set up a nice background and a light, and it works. And most people are like, "This is a really great shot. How'd you do this?" And I'm like, through my dusted, yeah, like I dusted, but I literally like through just capturing it and then finding a nice filter for it. But I also want to add this to end our conversation before we take a quick break. Is when we say headshot, I want us to clarify right now on this episode what we mean as a headshot, because I am so tired of people literally just sending me their head as the headshot. Like, I am over it. Like, I want from here and up, like right below your bust.
Not
and,
here. You should have the top of your tits in.
Like, so many people send me selfies, and it's like, and I'm over here like, okay, so I can't work with this, because when we look at the flyer, we're gonna be like, oh, I see who's professional and who's a bathroom selfie from the early 2000s lighting.
And that's a problem. Like, if you're making a flyer, because I also do flyers, and you send the person who's designing it 3 great photos, they can cut it out and make your flyer look awesome. And then you send a bathroom selfie. I mean, then the person has to like dummy down all the other pictures. That's my opinion, but that's a different story too. So.
All right, Rich. Well, we will bring you right back on. Take a break if you'd like one, and we're going to come back because we have a fun game to play, and I can't wait. So see you soon. Mwah.
Okay. Mwah. Mwah.
Alanya, you know me. My bladder is about the size of a pea, and I'm the only one drinking good water in my nice tumbler.
You need some water.
So with that, though, I want to bring up my beautiful slide. If you want to know what we're talking about today, it's tipping is a must. You can go to my website, which is juicywithjake.com, because I am the CEO and owner and founder of Mix Kelly Queer Education. And here's where you can find us. All right, Alanya, I'll be back. Anyone have questions for Alanya? You have 2 minutes.
I love that she gives me 2 minutes to be absolutely reckless. So yeah, I mean, if you have questions, just throw them in the chat because I am reading through all of them. And you know what? I know I'm going to get in so much trouble after this episode because of talking about editing when it comes to photos. If you know me, you know how much I hate, abhor, whatever extreme word you want to use. Where do babies come from? So what happens is when you're a drag queen, in order to have a baby, you have to save all of your lashes for the past 10 years, okay? So if you're like me, I like to, obviously, we all reuse our lashes, okay? And what you do is they eventually gather enough weave bond. And if you save them for 10 years, it'll turn into a baby. Is there anything you don't like about having a photographer at a show? No. No, unless you are someone who's not self-aware of your surroundings. Spatial awareness is very important. Please be mindful of the performers and how they perform. If it's not your first time at that show, you don't want to be in the middle of a room and someone's doing a cartwheel and they go right into the photographer because the photographer had no spatial awareness. So the spatial awareness goes towards the performers as well as everyone else and the photographer.
And Jay, just to answer where do babies come from, we could answer it on a different level because I am a queer inclusive sex educator and I could probably answer that in full detail, but I think Alanya did well.
Let's be honest, babies are made from weave bond. Specifically from the hair store.
I will say, actually, I love this question. Is there anything you don't like about having a photographer at your show? Yes. If you were not invited, if you were not
facial awareness. Yeah, we're gonna have to get little you know what? Actually, when I want to talk, I'm just gonna raise this up.
That's what you know what? Not next episode because I don't think I'll have enough time, but the one after. I should have enough time to do that.
Two.
Oh, well, I mean one of you and me.
We can put you on the back.
We'll flip it. Is this a Trixie or a Lanya? This is the T or A thing. Is it the at? Anyway, I do think photographers who start taking professional photos without are letting us know that they're there or what they're using them for, it's a no for me. Because when I see a photographer there who didn't let me know, I also think of media. Are you from a media source? I don't want you to follow me. So. Okay, so I want to give a announcement. So, wait, Steven. How do you pronounce the MX prefix? Thank you so much. So MX or mix is my honorifics. So it's a gender neutral honorifics pronounced mix. Not it could be some people like mixing, mix something. It's instead of a hard X, it's a soft K sort of say is how I try to explain. So it's not like a mix, it's mix. So yeah, thank you for asking. I also want to give out, so we officially have one sponsor for a sponsor episode. So anyone that wants to sponsor an episode, the whole season, whatever it may be that can. But tonight's sponsor, is just this, is also Silent J Jewelry, who is actually watching. Sierra, how are you doing? They are the ones that made this beautiful chicken wing for me. I absolutely love them. Thank you for sponsoring this episode tonight. I couldn't thank you more than enough. Also, happy birthday. Your birthday was on Saturday. So woo! Shout out to you. We love you. Thank you for always supporting all the drag people. She is literally one of the human beings that always comes to their local drag supporters and is a huge person to believe support your drag, local drag. And so they're there. So thank you for being our sponsor tonight. Anyone looking to sponsor us, please reach out and we can have a conversation on what that looks like. Mwah. All right. So, Rich, we are going to bring you back. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
I hope you were there. And so we are going to move into, I know, actually, you look good. Alanya, you look good.
I thought it was Little Kim. Sorry, I love you.
I love you, Little Kim.
We are going to play a game. Who in the audience is ready for a game? That's where you put a thumbs up or a star or you or your heart, I don't know, whatever you're feeling. So tonight's game, we have a rating of 1 through 5. Would you go? You're going to see a flyer from a drag show. Now, we weren't super. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to the one person who listened to me. Thank you, Jason. Me. Absolutely. Me and Alanya used our flyer, so we weren't super shady to other people. But me, Alanya, and Rich will all decide out of a scale from 1 to 5. Would we go to the show based off of this flyer, images that are on it? Audience, we want to see your votes too. So we're going to move right along to this next one. So we have this first show. Would you go? Trixie's Birthday Roast. Special shout out. It is January 27th at Rolling Pines in Berwick, Pennsylvania. It is my 30th birthday. So I'm doing a shameless plug at this moment. But based off of what you see, where you go, this is a professional head photo done by Tyler Ryan Studios or Tyler Graham or Alanya Morsex, who's a nice uprising drag queen. So Rich, we're going to start with you. I want to hear you. Based off of the flyer and everything that you see, would you go to this show?
I'm going to actually put 5. Yes. 5? And I'll tell you why.
Yes.
When, where, time, and who. You know what I mean? That's one thing. I hate looking at a flyer and I have to click the link to see what it is. And I understand that clicking the link will buy you tickets to that. But sometimes you're just seeing what to do. And I think with all the, yes, I would 5. Okay. I think it has all the pertinent information. It looks well done. Okay. And how do you think about the photo? I like the photo. I like that it's cut out and put into the flyer because it's incorporated with it. It doesn't look like a 5-year-old cut it out and put it in there, It looks very well done. Okay. And Alanya, 1 through 5, would you go?
I was actually going to say 3.
Ooh. Ew.
So, but I'll explain. Okay, so firstly, I kind of wish that the 30 wasn't the way it's set up because then the flyer kind of distracts a little. I wish that the text at the bottom wasn't all different colors. You have 3 different colors going on here and then different boldness going on, which kind of distracts from the eyes. The tickets, while it says $10 online and 15 at the door, cash only, I wish that was a little bit bigger. Just ADA accessibility. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Also, knowing who the host is going to be and who the roasters are going to be dropped it down like 2 points for me.
Got you.
So I rated my own I made this and I rated mine out of 4. This was a 4. I will say only because I know what I've used to do, to what I'm doing now. Yeah, but I rated this as a 4 only because of some of the things that Alanya said. I actually personally think there's just too much happening at the bottom. But at the same time, I wanted to make it super informal because I'm a person that hates getting questions. I hate getting the question, where is this? Where's that? It's literally on the flyer. So I definitely am not mad about it. But Alanya, I definitely see everything that you're saying. Now, to be fair, I didn't have the people who are in the show, yes, but I needed to make it happen. So that's why this flyer is there. There's going to be a newer flyer out that line for me.
And also with the different colors, I disagree, but you have to keep it in a different section. You have to keep it in unison. I usually do 2 colors and I try to switch every other section, like performers, title, and everything.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I only disagree with Alanya with the colors and I only say that because the bottom ones are lighter. So if I used white, you might not be able to see.
No, you would not.
I meant more of the bold and then the yellow. So the yellow at the top to go to gray, but not bold, to bold and gray.
Oh, girl, we're going to critical.
Of course.
Oh, girl.
Listen,
my first one I was a little nice on, so we're going to forget that. I was a little nice on the first one.
Listen, she used her best flyer, and she's using one of my worst. So I want to be as critical as possible.
Look, maybe, next time I'm getting volunteers from the audience to use their flyers. Look, I knew I was going to get socked in the face today while I used my own flyers. Anyway, so we're going to move to the audience. So we have a 4, 5, 5. Tyler just saying, hey, that's me. Yes, it is, Tyler. We absolutely love you. I think you did put in. I will say shout out to Tyler Graham. I worked with them as a photographer, not just drag. They actually did photos for me as myself because I had a non-binary photo shoot and they did phenomenal. Actually, they're the first photographer where I needed to get prints set up in my house. Like there's photos of me in my house because they did such a good job. Awesome. And it was because of their style. I've never seen a photographer with their style yet. So I loved it. Who else is performing? I'm going to get that list out. Alanya's one of our performers. We have Tequila. We have Xander. I'm hoping Divinity will say yes because she just hasn't said yes yet. And I don't remember everyone off the top of my head, but all I know is I'm going to be roasted to filth. So 5s, 2s, 4s.
And of course, she will be roasted to filth because I'm one of the roasters.
Alanya is one of the. But I picked people I absolutely love, but also that will make me laugh. And I know you do.
Joey Daniels.
Yes. Feel it, baby. Baby, my mama. So we're going to go to the second flyer. This is one that I've created. It was for Hogs Hollow last year. Hogs Hollow this year, unfortunately, was postponed. So we hope it was sold out. This first one was sold out. So we're going to start with Alanya, then we're going to go to Rich, and then we're going to go to me.
All right. So I'm going to be honest. I would give this one a 2.
Yeah.
I would give this a 2 because the bottom is a little too busy. You have 3 different fonts, 3 different colors in the same exact area. Also, I'm not exactly sure why there are heels and wheels. I mean, I see the heels and wheels, but why that one exactly? And why does it look so flat? There are no shadows, there are no outlines, there's no glow, nothing. I feel like when I see a flyer, I want there to be a little bit of dimension. I want it to look like something I want to buy. Now, granted, absolutely would love to buy Divinity Cruise because she's absolutely immaculate. But all the photos look flat. So I'm giving it a 2.
Appreciate it. Rich?
Yeah, I'm confused about the heels. The problem, okay, I will give you one thing.
So I'll give you some backstory on this venue. It was a biker bar. It was their first time. So the wheels came from the bikers and we were the heels. So they're bringing the heels to wheels because this bar is known in the area as a biker bar, so that's why we did
So why not do bikers and babes?
Because I was thinking about how I could ride someone, not how much I looked pretty next to a man.
See, what
I
I
mean-
would have, okay, this is just being critical. If you would have taken the top part, repeated in the background, it would have gave some dimension to the people up front. If you would have gave shadows to the people up front, it would have made it feel like it was coming off. And then also another thing I like to do is whenever you're doing the blue in the middle, outline both sides so it stands out.
Oh,
Only thing that bothers me is the Heels and Wheels drag show is not the same tilt as the blue, I think. I'm not sure. I'm just being critical.
I probably not. I did my best with that. I will be saying that was hard.
But yeah, maybe I'm gonna be nice 3, possibly maybe.
So in other words,
See, now when I look at
being
it,
nice 3, regular probably like a 1.5, 2.
1.
That's okay. We have a 1 and a 3 so far in the audience. So thank you, audience. To rate myself, knowing what I could do better today, I would rate this as a 3 or 2 myself. I will say the hardest. This is where headshots are important. The hardest for me to this flyer was when I asked for headshots or photos. I was sent so many different styles that it was hard for me to edit some of it. So some of what I had to work with was also to lower or tilt the things I did, because if I didn't, it would have looked like someone cutting out a magazine photo and just like slapping it on, and that's what I didn't want. So,
and also if you would send someone a picture and it's not like it's a full body shot, and then they say you want a headshot and they say just crop in. Well, the problem is if you're sending one from my phone, and you crop in, they're not. It's going to be a different quality, because the problem is like these are good pictures, well done. But if one of them is low quality, I'd be like, she's going to be broke when she comes. I mean, it's representation also.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, audience, does anyone else want to rate this? I know I sucked at it a year ago because, as you can see, this was January 8th of 2022, which means this photo was made in 2021. This flyer was made in 2021.
So I will give it to Trixie because I have been very vocal with you about how much better you've gotten at flyers.
Thanks, babe. You did actually the last episode we did with Jade. Alanya sent me a message. It was like, "You have gotten so much better. I'm so proud of you." And then like I was like, "Thank you so much." And then she goes, "I'm not always mean." And I don't ever think you're actually mean because we're the same person when it comes to honest feedback. So I was like, "Well, I'm hoping I'm getting better. It's practice makes perfect."
See, that's respect. Just going out of your way and saying, that looks awesome. I like that you did that. It's
yeah. And I will say, Alanya gave me some tips too. There were some flyers where Alanya was like, "You should probably do this for the next one," and I listened to it. I was like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to move to our third flyer.
Tear me apart. Tear me apart.
Rich,
I'm ready.
Rich, you're going to go first. Then it's me, and then Alanya, you get last for your photo. This is yours. And I will say, unfortunately, for anyone that's watching, this show was canceled. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but it was canceled.
Design wise,
actually, Rich, I'm gonna go first. So I'm gonna give it a 3, a nice solid 3. I don't think it's bad. Like it's not a terrible flyer in the sense of like when I look at it, I'm like, ew, why would I ever show up to the show? But it's not one of those like, this is spectacular. Like this wouldn't get me to say yes right away until I saw who's in it. Here's my why. Firstly, for me, it's the cutoff with the photos where Halloween is. I'm not into that where the style is, because also like Alze's legs cut off the L's, so it's already hard for me to read there. Like I'm like, oh, okay. The overall design though gives me like, I don't know what vibe we're going for, if we're going for club or are we going for Halloween. But I will say what I do like, I actually like this where you have the October 31st with the time and date and that there's a costume contest. But to be honest, I don't know if I would know if this was a drag show right away, which yes, there are drag people on it, but I'm like, what is it here for? What are we doing here? What is the intentions of us going to this show right now? So that's what I have for you.
I really hope you picked a good flyer too, and not just a bad one. You got two. You got two. This is one. I want to see a good one.
I don't have another one for you. I can get an. Hold on, we'll get another one. I'll go look for another.
Shady.
DM me,
lady.
DM me right now. DM me right now one of your best flyers, and we'll put it up.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll wait, and then we can listen to Chris's feedback. Not Chris, Rich.
Actually, my problem is, like, I don't know where it's going to be. And I understand it has a street address, and I guess the cafe is up there. I always think you should use the business's logo because that's like branding yourself. So I'm going to say about a 2.
Yeah. I will say I
love the bottom half if you would have added some more information. And the top half, if you would have carried your blue theme up behind the Halloween and made it orange, you would have noticed the legs so much. You know? Like the bottom half is great. The top half is okay.
I feel like this is a conversation that perfectly also segues into why it's so important to have a full body photo. Because the amount of times that I get like literally just this cutout, and I'm like, okay, like how am I going to fit you in here? And I have absolutely messaged performers and have said to them, I'm not using this photo. I need you to send me something else. If you're a show director, if you're someone who makes flyers, I'm sorry, but absolutely be upfront and say, no, I do not enjoy how this looks. Sorry, this is not matching the vibe. And one of the things that I actually said to the people on this flyer was, you need a professional photo shoot. Because it just dropped the quality.
It does. It's hard to make a great flyer whenever you have 3 pictures.
Actually, you want to know who makes me want to go to the show and stands out immediately from this flyer? Peter Pansy.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that the king?
That's the king with the scissors. So, out of the back row,
options, and he sends options. That's what I love. I love when you send 3 photos in different poses and different angles.
The back row of this photo, Peter is the only one that has it. Like when I think of who would make me want to go by looking at this flyer, it's Peter. Like the front row, you all look fierce, cute, and ready, and I've actually seen all these photos, so I think they do what it needs to do, because it also matches how you line them up, right? Like I don't actually know if you could place Peter in any other situation in this flyer, but this where you set them stands out 100. Like I want to know who this person is, and I want to go see them.
Right. And it shows diversity too. I don't want to go and see the same exact thing 3 times. I think some people need to add a different type of performer to their shows, because a lot of people out there just don't like the same cookie cutter thing all the time, But also there's people who just love it, which is not a problem with that. But, I'm a freak at heart. So.
Did you get my new photo?
I did.
I'm actually proud of that one.
I actually just saw it. I was like, it's really good. It is really good. I'm actually going to find it right now because I have to log out of my glitter on my tips. The only other thing I think I wish I wanted on this flyer is how much it cost. I like to know ahead of time how much shows cost.
Mm-hmm.
On this flyer?
Yes. Yeah.
On this flyer that
the one that
says how much it costs?
Where? Oh shit, it does. But
Where?
Then you don't notice it. $5 beside the 9 p.m.
Oh.
plus 5.
Right.
I didn't see it either.
I just can't read. I'm so sorry. So Alanya hates us. Now Alanya's over here like, you mean what I already did? Yeah.
Oops. But I do, yeah.
I like it. What did the audience say? Alanya, read what some of the audience people are saying about your horrible flyer.
So we'll start with Jason saying it says $5 because I'm glad someone read. Let's see. Tyler gave me 2. Brie gave me 3. Yeah. But
I
if you
love it.
read, I
I love
appreciate
it.
you.
Thank
I
you, Jason,
appreciate
for
you. Miss Icy Hottie in the chat.
Okay, so I do have to remove this because I have to re-upload it so we can get the drum roll of a century of Alania's amazing.
Brrr.
It's actually really good. It's really good.
It's one of the ones that I'm more proud of. That I actually took a little bit more time on. And by a little more time, I meant more than 5 minutes.
I'm just waiting for it to upload. It's
problem.
harder to upload because we're on the screen. Anyway, audience, just to let you know, after this, we have questions. So we did our fun game. So if you have any questions, please start putting them in the chat because we will go over any of them that you do have. We only have one more question to actually ask Rich, which we did not come up with this question. Rich, you came up with this question. And we can ask it now while we're uploading. You asked a specific question online. And I know Alania answered.
I
And
know.
it was, can money buy you talent?
You said yes. I want to know why you say yes.
Why I say yes.
Yes, you said
Yeah.
yes.
Because
So,
I didn't say yes. I said we would talk about it here.
so
Oh, you didn't?
in the immediate, no. Long term, absolutely. So you have to think of things like the privilege of having the income to afford to have someone teach you something.
Yes.
So when it comes to, dance lessons that cost money, that's not a privilege that we all have. So,
Okay.
there are plenty of performers who grew up in, different socioeconomic statuses. Some of them will have the opportunities
To have
to
that
pick
done.
up some form of dance art, whatever have you. And that is something that requires money. Now, granted, could you do it for free? Absolutely. You can find stuff on YouTube. But at the end of the day, can it buy talent? Absolutely. There are plenty of people who have money who I don't feel are deserving of the talent that they have based off of what mommy and daddy could pay for it.
Okay, that's okay. I see that side of it. Okay. I agree with that side of it. But there's some people, oh God, that can just buy this fabulous outfit. Okay. And when they go on stage, it's a reveal. And before they even got on the stage, I saw the reveal. If you're going to go on stage, at least practice a little bit. And you can do all that stuff with the money, but it should be a precursor or you're getting better at it, a lot of people think that they can buy the best outfits. Maybe I should have said outfits with that. I see what you're saying, Alondra, on your side. I do agree with that.
I don't disagree with Alania because my actually first thing went to money is a privilege
Yes,
in some
yes.
cases and accessibility. But my answer to your question is still no.
Yeah.
And here's why. You could put a lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig.
Yeah, but is it going to give it the attention to the audience that a lot of people do not have?
I'm going to say no. And here's why. Because I've seen top performers, gag-worthy, stunning, the dancers, the reveals, the numbers. And then I look at them and I'm like, what star quality do you have other than a fat wallet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't have.
Yeah, and you can't let your backup dancers go past you or be better.
If I'm watching somebody's show or their production value and I'm still bored, you don't have talent, sweetie.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's not for me. And
so is it a matter of talent or a matter of stage presence? Then that's what the conversation turns into.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we're talking about
stage presence is talent, though. I think stage presence is talent. There are people who can command a stage, and to me, that's talent in a sense.
But you can do a backflip, and that's a talent. That doesn't mean that it's stage worthy. So there's a difference between being talented and being stage worthy. So when it comes to the premise of specifically, can money buy talent?
Physically,
by proxy, yes. Yes, exactly. So can you pay for those things? Absolutely. Someone can teach you a new dance move. They can teach you a new routine. They can buy you the nice hair. But that doesn't mean that you're an entertainer.
I like that.
Can it buy talent? Yes. Can it buy an entertaining value? By proxy, sure. In the immediate, direct, no.
Right.
You know what?
But once again,
for the sake of wanting to show your last flyer, and just for the simple fact, I actually always agree with you. When it makes sense. With a reason. In the context you're putting it in, yes. So here is the last flyer, 1 through 5.
Ooh. Okay, let me see. October 21st, $12.
And there is the
$7.
price. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom. All of it is. So I'm giving this a 5. Here's why. It's captivating. The way it's angled has like this effect that builds on top of each other, and it gives me a vocal point. So the minute I look at this, I'm not even looking that if it's a drag show. I'm just like, where is this? I want to go, and now I'm going to search for it. So it already gives me like, I want to look for where this show is at vibe. That's my answer. There you go.
I love it. The only thing that I'm being really particular about, because this is how I am, you cut off that person's hand on that one side. That's the only thing. And I'm just weird like that because of that.
That's fair.
But you did what I said to do on the previous one. You took the Hollow Queens and you made a black shadow, and then it made you fade into that, which looks great. This looks professionally done. Well, it is. And like Trixie said, you followed the background, and there's a nice background that makes your queen stand out.
Yeah. So my only feedback for myself on this flyer is firstly the bottom line where it says the address. I wish that I didn't put it in red, only because I'm trying to be mindful of individuals with color blindness. Also, the Hollow Queens could absolutely be misread. So maybe spacing the font a little bit more so it's a little bit more legible. But I do love the fact that it does say it's a costume party and drag show, what time the doors open, how much it costs, how old you have to be.
And the thing about the red at the bottom, I don't know how much control you have over it, but if you do a slight stroke, that's what I try to do, it kind of pulls it out too.
Mm-hmm.
Alanya, I do have one question. In the top right, is the little icon, is that supposed to be the logo?
That is the logo for the basement.
So I just wish that was a little bit bigger.
They are not paying to have their logo bigger.
Well, the only reason why I say that because it looks like one of those icons you click on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to click on it. Like, oh, like the printing, like she sent me a photo with the printing icon on it. That's kind of it.
So like the early 2000s Internet Explorer little.
Yeah, that's what it I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you everyone for playing. You got a lot of high scores for this one. So Alanya, I'm not gonna say this, but I am. I'm so happy you and I got similar scores on some of this. It makes me feel better. That makes me think like I'm growing. So so with that, for anyone in the audience, if you have any last questions, and we do have, I'm just scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss any. We do have this one question. And this is by Steven. With the rise of right-wing extremists targeting drag shows or anything drag related, are you at all worried about people like that showing up and being violent or disruptive? So for me, yes, because we have. We haven't had any specific violence, and I'm thankful for that. But this is my first year I've had to deal with protests. I've had to deal with people who made threats but almost followed through. This isn't my first year with death threats or anything, but it's the first year where I had to be like, this is gonna happen. This might actually happen, and we as professionals, for me, like this is why I say this is why we have this this podcast, and the reason why I wrote my book was because having an emergency plan and having the right professional run a show is what you need. And this is no knock on anyone, and everyone starts somewhere. Not every drag queen can run a show, because they don't think about the safety. They don't think about who you contact. They don't think about your bodyguards. They don't think about the people at the door. They don't think about the vendors. They don't think about calling the local authorities. They don't think about all these other things that we have to do as shows when something like this happens. Because the other thing is, you don't want it to be retroactive. We want it to be a pre-active thought. And
we want it to be proactive, not
proactive.
Reactive.
Thank you. Yes, we want to be proactive, not reactive. So for me, am I worried about that? yes, because we've already had people show up, and like because we're on private property, it made it easier for us to be like, we will call the authorities if you please don't leave. And my rule now is if I don't know the establishment so well, like a lot of my establishments, I'm able to get people to watch the door or to make sure everything's fine. We're good. So Alanya, I'll also let you answer this question.
So when it comes to me personally, I am Trixie already knows this. We have the conversations all the time. A very proactive person. I like to come up with a plan for literally everything and not just one. I like 5. I like options because I can't decide 95% of the time what it is that I think would be best. So when it comes to the situation of protesters, we've already had it. Kudos to you, because this is something that I always prioritize. When a situation happens and you are able to handle it without anyone inside even knowing. That is what separates a host from a show director. When I have the police showing up to arrest someone and you had no idea that even happened, I did my job correctly.
Yep.
I kept the show going on the inside and I handled what I needed to on the outside. And you always want that point person on the inside, someone in your cast who you can trust, that if you're not back in time, they can pick up that microphone and keep it going so that there is no sense of urgency for the audience. They have no idea. They felt completely safe the whole time. They enjoyed it fully. You did what you needed to do because they never even knew unless someone said something.
Rich, do you have anything you would like to add?
I mean, just being gay in public makes you a target nowadays lately. And me, the way I am, when I was younger, I was a punk. So I just did what I wanted. And I never really shut down who I was in public. It's hard to think that you could be at a drag show and shit like that's happening. But I do agree a good host should be able to handle it before he even gets in the door too. Like your doorman should be looking out for certain things. And now I think a lot of bars should also do that at their door because it seems like sometimes they're just there about the money. And I understand that's what the business is, but yes, a good show producer should nip it in the butt before it comes in.
Yes, I agree. And you know where you can find all those tips to make sure that you know you're doing it the right way?
In your book? Yay!
Tipping is a must. So we do have another question. What are your thoughts on Pride festivals becoming more corporate with vendors and such instead of building up local vendors that are part of the LGBTQIA+ community?
You mean like slapping a rainbow flag on a bank logo and just going there to put out the bank thing? But then that company, you don't know if they're giving corporate support to LGBTQ. And if you're supporting a local artist, it's being better money. I mean, but you need to have support sometimes too.
So the one thing I always tell all of my performers, regardless of the situation, is invest in the community that invests in you.
Mm-hmm.
That money should be going back into the community. Do not give it to a corporate sponsor. Like, unless they are paying out the wazoo, give them the bare minimum for that wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
So as a person who has started 3 different prides within Northeastern, North Central Pennsylvania,
nice.
I want corporate sponsors for the money, but also for the name. And I say that because when we say certain people have sponsored us, more people are going to sponsor us because like, oh, this is a big event. Mm-hmm. This is a real event. And so for me, selfishly, like we need that because what people don't understand is those sponsors or those corporate sponsors is the reason why we're able to have that pride. It's the reason why we can pay our entertainers. It's the reason why we can pay for the venue and the other things that go into it, like electricity and other aspects to it. And so for me, I personally just can't knock that because we live in a capitalist society. But I will say, if you don't go out of your way to make sure your LGBTQA+ vendors are welcome, supported, and equal and treated equitably, then that has nothing to do with the vendors. That has everything to do with the Pride Festival.
That's true. They would have to. But it just seems like a lot of the Pride festivals locally don't really focus on anyone local. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, I know you can get sponsors, but do each sponsor get a place to sit and just put, you know what I mean? Like, I think it should be a sponsor. You have a sponsorship, you get this.
So what we did for Pride here when we first did it was your sponsorship level determined what it was that you got from us.
Mm-hmm.
And typically it was just your logo on a float.
Right, right.
Or your employees can march in the parade.
Mm-hmm.
That's free.
Mm-hmm.
And they can have their own section of the parade and hand out. But that's about as much as you get. Now, with the corporate part of the sponsorship being what's funding a large majority, also comes the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Your local Pride does not have as much resources as those corporate, because they have money.
Right.
They have a lot of money. So when it comes to Pride festivals specifically, leave it as a logo. Don't give them airtime more than they need to.
Right.
They want, listen, it is rainbow capitalism is real. And at this point, we already know they're doing it.
Right.
Capitalize off it even more.
I went to a Pride where there was a refrigerator salesperson, like a big one. I don't understand that.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Well, right
no,
now,
only because I never get to see it. I never get to see a refrigerator person, or like, does it, because we had a window one, and when I tell you it didn't make sense, it didn't make sense. But I was here for it because where we put them was at the far end. But I also walked up to this guy and was like, "You want to sell me windows?" Like, so I will say there's like a humor for me to it with it.
Give them the furthest back booth in the corner and call it the corporate greed section.
And that also goes to the person who's running the Pride too. You know, if you're doing that, I think you should know a little bit more information about what the company does, who it donates to. Oh my God, I'm reading bitches. But anyways,
the window dude was so nice though.
Huh?
Window so nice though.
Sorry,
was he hot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sierra was a vendor for the Silent Jewelry and Reptile Lady thing that she does across from him. And when I tell you, he did not want to be there. He did not want to be there, but he was there because they, work. It was work for him. And it's okay. But if that was all of our vendors, I would have been like, oh, we did something wrong. But it was not all of our vendors. It was one vendor out of all the ones I would say two. There were two vendors that were very corporate-y type sponsors, except the second corporate sponsor we had there does do their best to try to get involved with other things in our community. So it made it easier for us to be like, we didn't look at them as corporate, even though they're considered corporate. So
wait a minute. Oh, there was someone. Oh, never mind. There was someone who used a fast food restaurant that is very anti-gay as a sponsor for their Pride also.
Oh.
Like a chicken sponsor. I can't remember what Pride it was. But yeah, I don't know about that one. I was like,
If they sponsor a Pride, the only thing I have to say is they better come with a meal.
Right?
They better be providing free meals for everyone. And I'm still not going to accept it, but at least I know I could eat.
Yeah, it's just like, hi, this is our sponsor for Pride. I'm like, oh, is this like, yeah. But anyways, oh, where'd she go?
Oh, she just got disconnected. She'll come back.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hopefully she knows. Yes. Audience, to the 9 people who stayed on with us, if you have any last questions, please do. Rich, as we slowly start ending up, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I definitely appreciate everything that you've said and contributed, and also just thank you for always making us look good. Although you've never made me look good yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. And definitely I appreciate that you said you'd get my book. If you do, I will sign it for you.
Awesome. I mean, it's a great book. Being a drag queen is a business nowadays.
I think I definitely come from a business lens from it. But the one thing that I think gets confusing for people when we say, when I've heard people say that, is businesses take work. If you expect to just get it overnight, like to me, they're like, you're not looking at it as a business. You're looking at it as a hobby that you want to be an influencer. And as for me, my whole life motto is I don't want to be an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I'm a leader. I'm a leader, and I'm going to make sure that my empire isn't based off of like how I am influencing someone. It's based off of how I'm inspiring and motivating and being the role model for someone. So yeah. Also, it's there's a lot more we can say, but I don't want to spill all the tea because people need to get this book. It's all in there though. But Rich, what else? What are your ending words you would like to say to everyone here today?
I mean, it's all about communication. A lot of people don't communicate well with different things they want to ask. Sometimes, well, that's not true. I shouldn't say that. I could be the block in the communication. But if you're going to get someone who you're going to do pictures of you and they're going to represent you and they want you to be the best, I feel like that person should meet you at least halfway with, like you were saying, I don't want anyone to feel intimidated to come to me afterwards. I even asked Queens, I'm like, do you want me to show you first before I post them? And I have no problem doing that. You know, and at that point, if they say, could you do this? I don't get offended. I just feel I make everything really personable. So I don't think, like I said, it's a 50-50 thing, but you need to come prepared as I've prepared over the last 20 years, teaching myself different things and acquiring them, like the lights and the camera and all that stuff.
I love that. And so Rich, where are the who, what, when, where, like where can people find you? How can they reach out to you? If you're looking for more clients, business, like tell us the details.
Actually, so I have a couple partners and we all do crafts, and we're actually doing one page called Mr. 3 Oddities. So what happens is when you go there, there'll be different little links off of there, and you should be able to get I'll have a portfolio on there and I'll have a contact there. So if you find Mr. 3 Oddities on Facebook and like it, I'm going to start posting my stuff in that too.
And will you send it to us so that we can post it on Glitter on My Tips timeline?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Send it to me. I'm the one that controls all the things.
I was gonna.
I mean, you can send it to Alanya. Alanya, you post whatever you want. Thank you for sending it up. Anyone that follows, thank you. Rich, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Alanya, do you have any closing caption words for us today?
Absolutely. Get in contact with Richard if you want to look absolutely stunning and have a great time doing it. Because when I say genuinely, I genuinely appreciate this person as a friend and their talents as my friend. I genuinely mean that. And just a quick reminder, do not ask your friends for free things. Like I said, when I had my photo shoot with Richard, I literally said, do not send me anything until I have paid you in full.
Well, honestly, you and your family you and Alizé have made me feel better about the photography, because at the end of the day, you're like, I'll just do one outfit for that price. I'm like, girl, just bring 3, she's like, I don't want any airbrushing. I'm like, but you need a little because, I mean, you can come 100% prepared. I'm still going to find one little thing I touch just because that's my anal part of it. Dusted. I'm making us t-shirts that say dusted and snorting out of a compact or snorting on the hay.
I'm a large. I'm a size large.
Don't tell me that.
No, thank you, Richard, and obviously Alanya. Thank you for always putting up with me. For anyone who's interested, our next episode for Glitter on My Tips. Alanya, you're not doing it.
I'm letting you. I'm letting the chicken ring do the work.
The episode is going to be November 13th at 8 p.m. And I'm super excited. The tip we're going is tip 88. Ooh, what tip is that? If you have the book, actually, I'm gonna look to make sure I didn't butcher the number. Nope. Tip number 88. And if you want to know what that tip is, you're unfortunately going to have to get the book because we are not going to tell you what that is. But we are going to have a lovely host on here, and it's Camden Summers. I'm super excited. It's our first drag king that will be on here in this episode. So that'll be our episode 4 on November 13th. But other than that, thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate it. As Glitter on the Tips is all about the professionalism, the leadership, and the business side of drag.